crunch time at Mission San Jose High School in Fremont, California.
The final exam is supposed to be on what, 2 days?
For students like Sid Sriram, it's game on.
Just to see that letter grade, to see that A on the paper, it's a pretty good feeling.
The kids here are some of the best test takers in the country. Mission San Jose, one of the very best public schools. It's also overwhelmingly Asian.
Lucy Liu, Annie Liu, Thomas Liu.
And its success raises a highly controversial question. Are Asian students smarter? So when did you come to this school?
In 1972, I started.
When Principal Stuart Q came to Mission San Jose, the school was 98% white. Now, it's only 20% white and nearly 75% Asian because of demographic shifts in the Silicon Valley community. Its scores on statewide tests have gone through the roof. What do you think accounts for the high academic achievement at this school?
I think just the changing demographics.
How so?
I think that the Asian population, as they became more predominant in this area, that the parents have come from a system, they all teach for a test, and that's their biggest thing.
Q says Asian American students consistently outperform their white classmates on standardized tests, and not just here. California's top 5 ranked public high schools are all majority Asian. Nationally, Asian students lead in terms of overall grade point averages. They outscore their peers on the math portion of the SATs and are more likely to take math-heavy classes like physics and calculus. So, those high scores beg the politically incorrect question, are Asians naturally more intelligent?
That's just not on the table. It's not a matter of biology or genetic differences. That we're very clear about.
Stanford cultural psychologist Hazel Marcus notes a distinction between intelligence and academic success. Education is particularly prized in most Asian cultures. Academic success, a child's duty to his family.
It's the most important role. It's your job. It's what you are supposed to do, is to bring honor to the family by becoming educated.
What's more, studies show Asian students take a unique approach to learning, absorbing facts rather than reflexively challenging them.
First comes just making your mind quiet and then taking in the information that's there. Organize it, put it together. Later on there can be questioning.
Anytime we make broad statements about Asian Americans being uniformly successful, it misleads the public.
Dr. Alvin Alvarez says statistics don't tell the whole story and perpetuate the myth of a model minority. Keep in mind, the Asian American classification covers people from well over a dozen countries. Not all nationalities achieve the same levels of success here in the United States. The path of a college-educated immigrant from India or China is very different from that of an asylum-seeking refugee who fled Cambodia or Laos or Vietnam. The model minority myth renders all those distinctions moot.
One, it basically fails to kind of capture the diversity within the Asian American community. Two, it also begins to penalize those Asian American groups and individuals who don't fit that particular stereotype.
What are you doing after school? Work.
As a white student at Mission San Jose, Hannah Raudzip is a minority. She rolls with the pressure, but questions the pressure cooker mentality she sees in some of her Asian American classmates.
Their pressure is more of like a fear. Like they're afraid that they're going to disappoint their parents. And like it's almost like they're not motivated for themselves.
What about Asian Americans?
But Hazel Marcus calls this a case of cultural confusion.
For Asian students, it doesn't feel like pressure. It feels a bit like scaffolding or wind at their sails. It's like having a team behind you that's rooting for you to do well.
As for Sid Sriram, the junior who is so jazzed about his exams, he says he gets inspiration from his father.
He knows my potential more than anyone else. And he makes sure that he can get the most out of me so I can get the most out of me. Like, I'd say my dad knows me more than I do. He knows when I've studied well, he knows when I haven't, and he knows that he can tell me in a good way.
Sid's parents closely monitor his academic progress. They know all about pressure from their own experience in India.
You knew if you had to be successful, you had to become an engineer or a doctor.
And you became an engineer.
I became an engineer.
But here in America, Sid is setting his own goals. After the last test is graded, he'll pursue his true passion, music. And then he hopes a political science degree from Harvard. His parents vow to support him every step of the way. Betty Nguyen, CNN, Fremont, California.